The gallery doors swung open, and my breath caught in my throat. There it was, mounted on the center wall under perfect lighting. My painting. The sunset bleeding into ocean waves, the hidden face in the foam, the signature brush strokes I had spent 3 months perfecting in my cramped apartment. Except the nameplate read, "Original work by Jordan Hayes." My cousin Jordan stood beside it, accepting congratulations from strangers who praised their incredible talent. My hands started shaking. Jordan's eyes met mine across the room, and instead of shame or panic, they smiled. Not a nervous smile. A proud one. That smile told me everything. This was not a mistake. This was deliberate theft, and they expected me to stay silent. I walked closer, my footsteps echoing on the polished floor. The painting looked different under gallery lights, more professional somehow, more important. People gathered around it, pointing at details I had agonized over. Someone asked Jordan about their inspiration. "I spent months on this," Jordan said smoothly. "The face in the waves represents lost memories." Those were my exact words from my sketchbook. I felt heat rising in my chest. I opened my mouth to speak, but Jordan's father appeared beside them with champagne glasses. The family closed ranks. I stood there, invisible, while everyone celebrated my stolen work. I drove home in silence, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Every red light felt like torture, giving me time to replay Jordan's smirk, their confident lies, the applause that should have been mine. My apartment felt smaller than usual when I walked in. I stared at my workspace, the easel in the corner, the paint-stained table, the dozens of practice sketches pinned to the walls. Everything in this room proved that painting was mine. I grabbed my phone and searched for Jordan's social media. The post was already up. Hundreds of likes. Comments flooding in. "Your best work yet. Absolutely stunning." My stomach twisted. Jordan had posted photos of themselves standing beside my painting, looking humble and grateful. They had written a caption about finding their artistic voice, about pushing through self-doubt. I scrolled through the comments, searching for anyone who questioned it. No one. Everyone believed them. I opened my photo gallery and found the progress shots I had taken during creation. The bare canvas. The initial sketch. The layering of colors. Every stage documented with timestamps from 3 months ago. Jordan had nothing like this because they did not paint it. This was not just theft. This was calculated. Premeditated. Jordan had planned this for months, watching me work during our weekly art sessions, memorizing every technique, stealing my sketches when I was not looking. Saturday morning, I texted Jordan casually. "Hey, mind if I stop by the studio? Left my good brushes there last week." The reply came fast. "Sure. I'll be out till 3 though. Doors unlocked." Perfect. I parked 2 blocks away and walked to Jordan's studio apartment, looking over my shoulder like a criminal. The door creaked as I pushed it open. Their workspace was messier than mine, canvases stacked against walls, paint tubes scattered everywhere. I started searching. Under a pile of abandoned paintings near the window, I found it. My sketchbook. The one I thought I had lost 2 months ago. I flipped through pages with shaking hands. There were my original drafts of the ocean painting, my notes about color mixing, my ideas about hiding faces in natural elements. Everything was there, including dates written in my handwriting. But someone had added sticky notes in Jordan's handwriting. "Use this for gallery piece. Perfect for exhibition. Remember the story about lost memories." My stomach dropped. They had studied my work like a textbook, learning not just the techniques but the stories behind them. I took photos of every page with my phone, making sure the dates and my handwriting were clear. Then I found something worse. A folder labeled Exhibition Prep, containing printouts of my social media posts, screenshots of my techniques, even a printed photo of me working on the canvas. Jordan had documented my entire creative process. I heard footsteps outside and froze. The footsteps passed by. I exhaled slowly and put everything back exactly as I found it. My heart hammered as I locked the door behind me and walked back to my car. I needed help. Someone who understood what was happening and would not tell me to let it go for the sake of family peace. I called my best friend, Tyler, another artist who had known me since college. He answered on the second ring. I need to see you. Now. 20 minutes later, we sat in his kitchen while I showed him everything. The photos of my sketchbook in Jordan's studio. The progress shots on my phone proving I painted it. The social media posts where Jordan claimed credit. Tyler's expression darkened as he scrolled through the evidence. This is serious theft, he said quietly. Not just the painting. They stole your intellectual property, your creative process, everything. My family won't believe me, I said. Jordan's the golden child. I'm just the cousin who paints as a hobby. This is not a hobby. This is your career. Tyler set down his phone and looked at me directly. We need to expose them, but carefully. If you go in angry, people will think you're jealous. We need undeniable proof. How? Social media. Gallery connections. Documentation. We build a case so solid that even your family can't deny it. Tyler pulled out his laptop. Start posting old progress shots with dates. Make it look casual. When the truth comes out, people will already have seen your work developing months before Jordan's exhibition. I nodded slowly. This could work. The following Tuesday, Jordan posted more exhibition photos. I watched their follower count climb while mine stayed flat. Meanwhile, I was posting progress shots of the stolen painting with casual captions. Throwback to this piece I was working on in March. Still my favorite sunset blend. The timestamps were clear. March 15th. 2 months before Jordan's exhibition. Some of my followers started commenting. Wait, this looks familiar. Isn't this similar to that painting going viral? I did not respond to any comments. Not yet. At another gallery event 3 days later, I watched Jordan from across the room. They wore expensive clothes now, carried themselves differently, spoke with authority about artistic vision. Someone asked about their process, and Jordan launched into a detailed explanation that sounded exactly like my words from our art sessions. I pulled out my phone and recorded everything. The way they held their hands when describing brush techniques. The specific terminology they used. The story about discovering the face in the waves. All of it was mine. Their rise has been incredible, someone said beside me. I turned to see a gallery coordinator I had met once before. 3 months ago, Jordan could barely finish a landscape. Now this. Maybe too remarkable, I said quietly. The coordinator gave me a strange look, but I just smiled and walked away. I had planted a seed of doubt. Later, I reviewed the recording at home. Jordan's performance was flawless, but I had evidence now. Sunday dinner at my parents' house felt like walking into enemy territory. Jordan sat at the head of the table, soaking up praise from every relative. My aunt kept showing her phone to anyone who would look. 30,000 likes now. Can you believe it? I pushed food around my plate, waiting for the right moment. Finally, during a pause in the congratulations, I spoke up. You know, I painted something really similar to Jordan's piece a few months ago. Same composition, same hidden face technique. The table went quiet. My mother's eyes warned me to stop. My uncle's face hardened. Jordan just smiled that same confident smile. Great artists think alike, Jordan said smoothly. Maybe we inspired each other during our sessions. Except I painted mine in March. Your exhibition was in May. Are you saying I copied you? Jordan's voice carried just enough hurt to make me look like the villain. My aunt stepped in immediately. Jordan has been painting for years. Just because you're both artists does not mean everything is about you. The words stung more than they should have. My father changed the subject, and dinner continued like I had said nothing. But I noticed my younger cousin, Taylor, watching me with curious eyes. After dinner, Taylor found me in the kitchen. "I believe you," they whispered. "I've seen your work. I know you painted that sunset piece." "Then why doesn't anyone else believe me?" "Because Jordan makes them feel successful. They love having a famous artist in the family." Taylor squeezed my arm. "But I'll help you prove it." I felt tears building but blinked them away. The revenge had to be public now. Wednesday afternoon, I returned to Jordan's studio with a small recording device Tyler had given me. "Just plant it behind the bookshelf," he had said. "We need evidence of them practicing your techniques." My hands shook as I pushed the tiny camera behind Jordan's art books, angling it toward their easel. The red light blinked once. I left quickly, feeling guilty and justified at the same time. Over the next 5 days, I checked the footage remotely. The recordings showed Jordan painting new pieces, but not from original inspiration. They pulled up photos of my other works on their laptop and copied elements, changing small details. In one recording, Jordan was on the phone with someone. "Yeah, I have more pieces ready for the next show. My cousin taught me everything during our sessions. They're too shy to exhibit, so I figured why let it go to waste?" My blood boiled. On day 6, the camera captured Jordan practicing a presentation. They stood in front of the ocean painting, rehearsing answers. "This piece represents my breakthrough moment," Jordan said to the empty room. "I finally found my voice as an artist." Those exact words came from a journal entry I wrote in February. A journal that sat on my desk during one of Jordan's visits. I downloaded all the footage and removed the camera. Now I had everything. The question was how to use it. I found the gallery curator's email and spent 2 hours crafting the perfect message. Professional, not emotional. Factual, not accusatory. "Dear Ms. Patterson, my name is Alex Rivera, and I'm a local artist. I recently attended your exhibition featuring Jordan Hayes. I believe there may have been a significant misattribution of artwork, and I have documentation that proves one of the displayed pieces was created by me several months before Mr. Hayes's exhibition. Would you be available for a private meeting to review my documentation? I have progress photos, original sketches with timestamps, and video evidence. Thank you." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Ms. Patterson responded within 3 hours. "Ms. Rivera, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I can meet with you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Please bring all documentation." Tomorrow at 2. My stomach flipped. Meanwhile, Jordan posted another smug update about their growing follower count. The comments section was full of admiration. I wanted to scream at every person praising them, but Tyler's words echoed in my mind. "Build the case. Let the evidence speak." I spent the evening organizing everything into a clear timeline. Photos, videos, recordings, sketches, all labeled with dates and explanations. By midnight, I had a presentation that would leave no room for doubt. Jordan had stolen my work. Now I had to make sure everyone knew it. While waiting for my meeting with Ms. Patterson, I started posting more throwback content. A time-lapse video of me painting the ocean piece, filmed back in March. Found this old footage on my phone. The video clearly showed my face, my apartment, the date stamp in the corner. Within hours, people started connecting the dots. Comments rolled in. "Wait, is this the same painting from that exhibition? The dates don't match up." My follower count jumped by 300 overnight. People were sharing the video, tagging Jordan, asking questions. Jordan posted a vague response. Art is about inspiration and shared vision. But their followers were not satisfied. More questions came. Did you collaborate? Who painted it first? I did not respond to anything. Just posted another progress photo the next morning. This one showed my sketchbook with clear dates visible. The comments section exploded. Art blogs started picking up the story. Possible plagiarism in local art scene? Exhibition scandal brewing. Jordan called me for the first time in weeks. I let it go to voicemail. Their message was clipped and angry. What are you doing? You're making us both look bad. This is not cool. I smiled at my phone. That afternoon, I walked into the gallery with my evidence folder. Ms. Patterson waited in her office, expression neutral but curious. Ms. Rivera, please show me what you have. I laid out everything. She studied each piece carefully, her face growing more serious with every page. Finally, she looked up. This is conclusive. I'll need to contact Mr. Hayes immediately. I met Jordan at a coffee shop 2 days later. They arrived 15 minutes late, sunglasses on despite the cloudy weather. I had my laptop open on the table. What's this about? Jordan said, not sitting down. I know everything. I turned the laptop screen toward them. I found my sketchbook in your studio. I have recordings of you practicing my techniques. The gallery curator is reviewing my evidence right now. Jordan's face went pale, but they recovered quickly. Laughed, actually. You think anyone will believe you? I'm the one with the exhibition. You're just jealous because I actually had the courage to show my work publicly. My work. You mean my work? Prove it. Jordan leaned forward. You think showing some old sketches will convince anyone? I'll say you copied me. Who do you think people will believe? The artist everyone loves or the bitter cousin making accusations? I felt something cold settle in my chest. You're right. Private confrontation won't work with you. Finally, you understand. Drop this, Alex. Move on. Jordan grabbed their coffee and walked out. But they had made a critical mistake. They thought I would give up. They were wrong. I closed my laptop and texted Tyler. We go public. Full exposure. His response came immediately. About time. I'll contact the art critic who's been following your posts. She's been asking questions. The art critic's name was Victoria Walsh. She had been following both Jordan's exhibition coverage and my social media posts. Tyler knew her from a gallery opening last year and reached out on my behalf. Her response was immediate. I've been watching this situation develop with great interest. The timeline discrepancies are notable. I'd like to see your documentation in person. We met at a quiet cafe on Thursday morning. Victoria was in her 50s, sharp-eyed, with silver hair pulled back in a tight bun. She radiated authority. I showed her everything. The progress photos with timestamps. The sketchbook with my notes and dates. The recordings of Jordan practicing my techniques and claiming my creative process. The stolen journal entries they had memorized. Victoria studied each piece of evidence with intensity. When she finished, she leaned back and removed her reading glasses. This is theft. Intellectual property theft and fraud. The documentation is irrefutable. But can you help me prove it publicly? Ms. Rivera, I can do more than that. I can end Jordan Hayes' fraudulent career before it truly begins. She pulled out her phone. I'm writing a feature article for the City Arts Review. It publishes next Tuesday. The piece will detail this entire situation, supported by your evidence. By Wednesday morning, everyone in the local art community will know the truth. My hands shook slightly. What if Jordan tries to discredit the article? They can try. But I've built my reputation on exposing fraud. My word carries weight that theirs does not. Victoria smiled grimly. Thieves rely on silence. Once the truth is spoken loudly enough, their house of cards collapses. She paused. However, I need your permission to publish. This will be public and messy. Your family will be involved. Are you prepared? I thought about Jordan's smirk, their confident lies, the way my family had dismissed me. Yes. I'm ready. Monday morning, I received an email that made my heart race. Dear Ms. Rivera, the gallery is hosting a new exhibition opening Friday evening. Given recent discussions about artistic attribution, we would like to extend an invitation for you to display your original ocean painting alongside other works. We believe transparency benefits the artistic community. Please confirm by Wednesday. I read it 3 times. Ms. Patterson was giving me a platform to reclaim my work publicly at the same gallery where Jordan had stolen my recognition. I confirmed immediately. The exhibition would open 3 days after Victoria's article was published. Perfect timing. Jordan would face public scrutiny from the article, then see my original painting displayed with proof of authenticity in the same gallery where they had committed fraud. But I needed the actual painting back. It was still in Jordan's possession, hanging in their apartment like a trophy. Tyler helped me plan. Wednesday afternoon, while Jordan was at a scheduled meeting with an arts magazine, we went to their apartment. Taylor had provided a key. The painting hung in the living room, my signature carefully painted over and replaced with Jordan's. My chest tightened looking at it. This piece represented 3 months of work, countless hours of perfecting techniques, and personal memories woven into every brushstroke. We carefully removed it from the wall, wrapped it in protective material, and carried it to Tyler's car. I left a note on the empty wall hook. I'm taking back what's mine. See you at the exhibition. Jordan called 6 times that evening. I did not answer. Their voicemails evolved from confused to angry to slightly panicked. The last one was almost pleading. Alex, we can talk about this. Just bring it back. Please. Too late, please. Friday evening arrived with perfect weather. I arrived early with Tyler and Taylor, carrying my original ocean painting plus 2 other pieces. Ms. Patterson had arranged for them to be displayed in the main exhibition space with detailed documentation cards explaining the creation timeline. Each card included dates, progress photos printed and mounted, and QR codes linking to my social media posts from months ago. My ocean painting was positioned directly across from where Jordan's stolen version had hung. The wall text read, Ocean Memory by Alex Rivera. Created February through April. Documentation includes original sketches, progress photography, and artist statements. This piece was previously displayed without the artist's permission under incorrect attribution. People started arriving at 6. I recognized faces from Jordan's exhibition, gallery regulars, local artists, and critics. Victoria Walsh arrived early and gave me an encouraging nod. Her article had published Tuesday as promised, and the art community was still buzzing. The piece had been thorough and devastating. Side-by-side timeline comparisons. Expert analysis of brushstroke patterns. Quotes from Tyler and other artists. Screenshots of Jordan's posts with dates that contradicted their claims. By Wednesday afternoon, Jordan's social media had been flooded with questions. They had posted a weak defense about inspiration and shared artistic vision, but the comments sections had turned hostile. Now, people gathered in front of my display, reading the documentation, scanning the QR codes, and whispering to each other. I heard fragments. So this is the real artist. I saw the article. Can't believe someone would steal like that. More people arrived. The crowd grew. And then Jordan walked through the door. Jordan stopped just inside the entrance, scanning the room until their eyes found my display. Their faces went through several expressions, then settled into forced composure. They wore designer clothes and carried themselves like someone who belonged, but I could see the panic underneath. People were already staring. Whispering. Pointing. Jordan walked toward my display, and the crowd parted slightly. I stood beside my painting, Tyler on one side, Taylor on the other. Jordan stopped 3 feet away. You're making a mistake, Jordan said quietly. We can fix this privately. I'm not embarrassed, I said. My voice was steady. I created something beautiful, and now everyone knows it. A journalist from the local arts section pushed forward, phone recording. Mr. Hayes, Alex Rivera claims you displayed her artwork without permission. Can you comment? Jordan's composure cracked slightly. This is a complicated situation involving artistic collaboration. Sometimes in collaborative environments, attribution can become unclear. I never agreed to collaborate, I said clearly. You stole my sketchbook. You copied my techniques. You claimed my creative process as your own. The documentation proves everything. More phones came out. The crowd grew larger. Jordan looked around at all the watching faces, at the phones capturing every word, at the proof mounted behind me. Alex is confused about the timeline, Jordan finally said. I developed this work independently. The similarities are coincidental. Victoria Walsh stepped forward, her presence commanding immediate attention. Mr. Hayes, I'm Victoria Walsh with the City Arts Review. I've examined extensive documentation. The evidence shows Ms. Rivera created progress photographs dated in March, 2 months before your exhibition. Your social media shows no creation process. How do you explain that? Jordan's face flushed. I don't document everything I create. Some artists work privately. But you documented extensively during your exhibition, Victoria continued. Photos of yourself with the painting. Detailed posts about your creative process using language that matches Ms. Rivera's journal entries word for word. This is harassment, Jordan said, voice shaking. You're all conspiring against me. Taylor spoke up, voice clear and devastating. I'm your cousin. I have no reason to lie. I watched Alex paint this in her apartment in March. You borrowed her sketchbook in April and never returned it. I saw it in your studio with sticky notes planning how to use her work. The crowd murmured. Family testimony hit differently. A gallery regular raised her hand. I'm confused. At your exhibition, you said this painting took months and represented a breakthrough. Were you lying then or lying now? Jordan opened their mouth but no words came out. The journalist pressed closer. The timestamps on Ms. Rivera's documentation are verifiable through metadata. Can you provide similar documentation? I don't owe anyone explanations, Jordan finally snapped. The work speaks for itself. That's the problem, I said quietly. The work does speak. And it says I created it, not you. The silence that followed felt massive. Everyone waited for Jordan's response, but they just stood there, trapped, while phones recorded their collapse. I pulled out my tablet and opened the video I had been saving. The recording from Jordan's studio showed them practicing my techniques, copying my other works, rehearsing the presentation where they claimed my creative process. I installed a recording device in your studio, I said. Everything you've been doing is documented. I pressed play and turned the screen toward the crowd. The audio was clear. Jordan's voice explaining to someone on the phone how they had learned everything from me and were planning to use more of my work. Gasps rippled through the crowd. On screen, Jordan stood in front of my ocean painting, practicing answers for their magazine interview, claiming the face and the waves represented their personal breakthrough, using my exact words. The video showed Jordan pulling up photos of my other paintings and copying elements. The evidence was undeniable. People pressed closer. Some pulled out their phones to record the recording. The journalist's eyes went wide. Jordan's face had gone completely pale. You recorded me without permission, Jordan said weakly. That's illegal. Actually, in this state, one-party consent is legal, Victoria said calmly. Ms. Rivera was documenting fraud. Your privacy rights don't protect evidence of theft. This is insane, Jordan looked around desperately. She's manipulating evidence to destroy my career. Your career was built on theft, Tyler said. This is just the truth catching up. Jordan's hands were shaking. The crowd had gone from curious to hostile. Someone muttered, fraud. The journalist pushed her phone closer. Mr. Hayes, given this video evidence and the documented timeline, do you admit to displaying Ms. Rivera's artwork without permission and claiming it as your own? The question hung in the air, heavy and inescapable. Before Jordan could answer, my uncle pushed through the crowd, my aunt right behind him. Their faces were red, expressions angry. "What is going on here?" my uncle demanded. "Jordan, are these people harassing you?" Jordan looked at their parents with relief. "Dad, they're lying. Alex is trying to ruin me because she's jealous." My aunt grabbed Jordan's arm protectively. "My child would never steal. This is family betrayal. Alex, how could you? How could I?" My voice came out harder than intended. "I showed you proof at Sunday dinner. You dismissed me. You chose to believe Jordan's lies because it was easier." "Watch your mouth," my uncle said. "Jordan is your family. So am I. But that didn't stop you from ignoring me when I told you the truth." Taylor stepped forward, small but determined. "Uncle Phil, Aunt Marie, I love Jordan, but Alex is telling the truth. I've seen her work. I helped her document Jordan's theft." "You helped her?" My aunt looked betrayed. "Your own cousin." "Jordan stole from their own cousin first," Taylor shot back. My mother arrived next, called by my aunt. Her face was tight with stress. "Alex, please. Can we discuss this privately? You're making a scene." "I tried private. Remember Sunday dinner? You told me to let it go." Other family members were arriving now. The gallery had become a family battlefield. Some relatives looked at the evidence on the walls and their faces changed. Others stood firmly with Jordan, refusing to even look. My cousin Taylor's mother examined the documentation, then turned to my aunt with disappointment. "Marie, this is pretty clear. The dates don't lie. Jordan took Alex's work." "You're turning on my child?" "I'm acknowledging reality." The family fractured in real time, old tensions surfacing. But through it all, Jordan stayed silent, protected by parents who refused to see truth. Victoria Walsh's voice cut through the family argument. "Regardless of family politics, the artistic community has a responsibility to address fraud publicly." She turned to address the crowd. "I've spent 30 years as an art critic, and I've seen many cases of plagiarism. This case is particularly clear-cut. Ms. Rivera has verifiable timestamps. Mr. Hayes has performed the work publicly but cannot document its creation because he did not create it." She gestured to my display. The original sketches with dated entries. The progress photographs with metadata. The video evidence of Mr. Hayes admitting to using Ms. Rivera's techniques. The stolen journal entries he memorized. This is not a gray area. This is theft. The journalist nodded, still recording. "Ms. Walsh, as a respected critic, what would you call this piece?" Victoria looked directly at my ocean painting. "This is a masterpiece of emotional depth and technical skill. The hidden face shows sophisticated understanding of negative space. The color transitions demonstrate advanced knowledge of light theory. The brushwork is confident and intentional. This is the work of a serious artist who deserves recognition." She turned to Jordan. "And you, Mr. Hayes, attempted to claim this recognition through deception. That's fraud." The crowd broke into scattered applause. My eyes burned with unshed tears, but I kept my voice steady. "Thank you, Ms. Walsh." Jordan's father started to protest, but Victoria continued. "I should mention that my article this week received significant attention. Several galleries have expressed interest in Ms. Rivera's work. The Arts Council has asked me to recommend emerging artists for their grant program. I'll be submitting Ms. Rivera's portfolio." My breath caught. The Arts Council grant was prestigious, career-changing. Furthermore, the ethics committee that oversees gallery exhibitions is opening an investigation. "Mr. Hayes, you should expect formal inquiries." Jordan's face had gone from pale to gray. Jordan's composure finally shattered completely. In front of everyone, with phones still recording, they covered their face with their hands and their shoulders started shaking. When they looked up, tears streamed down their cheeks. "I didn't think it would go this far," Jordan said, voice breaking. "I just wanted to be successful like you, Alex. You made it look so easy, and I struggled with everything. When I found your sketchbook, I thought I could learn from it. Then people started praising the work, and I couldn't stop. I'm sorry. The confession hung in the air. Some faces softened at Jordan's tears, others remained hard. My aunt wrapped her arms around Jordan. You're just overwhelmed. You don't know what you're saying. Mom, stop. Jordan's voice was broken but clear. I stole Alex's work. The article was right. The evidence is real. I took her sketchbook and copied her painting. I claimed her creative process as mine. I planned to use more of her work for future exhibitions. Jordan looked at me directly. I destroyed your trust. I stole your moment. I let the family dismiss you while I took everything you created. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry isn't enough, but it's all I have. The apology felt hollow after months of lies, after being dismissed by my own family. But seeing Jordan's career collapse, watching their reputation crumble, seeing my uncle's face as his child admitted to fraud, I felt something unexpected. Not satisfaction. Not triumph. Just exhaustion and sadness that it had come to this. You're right, I said quietly. Sorry isn't enough. But acknowledging the truth is a start. The journalist looked between us. This confession will be part of my coverage. Jordan nodded weakly. My family stood divided. But the moment wasn't about them anymore. 3 months later, I stood in a different gallery, my own exhibition opening. The walls displayed 15 pieces, each one accompanied by documentation showing my complete creative process. The space was packed. Victoria Walsh had written a feature calling it, "A Triumph of Authentic Creativity." The Arts Council grant had provided funding for this exhibition. Gallery owners from 3 cities had reached out. Art students had contacted me about mentorship. The recognition I had always wanted was finally mine, earned through my own talent. Jordan's career had ended the night of their confession. The gallery had issued a formal apology. The ethics committee had released findings condemning the theft. Jordan's social media accounts had gone silent after they posted a public apology. My uncle and aunt had stopped speaking to me. But other family members, including Taylor, had grown closer. My parents had finally apologized for dismissing me, though the hurt remained. As I walked through my exhibition, greeting guests and answering questions, I felt something I hadn't expected. Not revenge. Not victory. Just peace. I had reclaimed my voice, my art, and my integrity. The ocean painting hung in the center, restored and properly credited. People gathered around it, praising the hidden face, the color transitions, the emotional depth. This time, they knew who had created it. A young artist approached me nervously. Your story inspired me to start documenting my process better. Document everything, I told her. Not because you expect the worst, but because your creative journey matters. Tyler appeared beside me with champagne. You did it. We did it, I corrected. I couldn't have exposed Jordan without your help. What are you working on next? I thought about the blank canvases in my studio, the ideas filling my sketchbooks. Something new. Something entirely mine. Something no one can ever take away. As the evening continued, I realized this was the exhibition I had dreamed about for years. Not the stolen moment at Jordan's show, but this authentic recognition of my actual work. Jordan had tried to steal my success, but they had only stolen a moment. I had built something real, something lasting, something that belonged to me alone. The gallery lights reflected off my paintings, each one a testament to hours of work and personal growth. No one could take this from me because it was built on truth. The evening ended with a news interview, collaboration offers, and a waiting list of people wanting to purchase my work. I drove home exhausted but genuinely happy. Jordan had tried to bury my talent under their lies. Instead, they had forced me to fight for recognition in a way that made my success even more meaningful. Sometimes the best revenge is not destruction. Sometimes it is simply becoming everything they tried to prevent you from being. I unlocked my apartment and looked at my workspace, already imagining the next painting. The canvas waited, blank and full of potential. And this time, everyone would know exactly who created whatever appeared on its surface. My name. My work. My truth.